Hey everybody, this is Sanj, and for those of you tuning in for the first time, welcome to The Real Fan Review. Make sure you check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Listen to all our episodes on your favorite podcasting app, and make sure to like us and subscribe on YouTube so you can keep up to date with all the new episodes. If there's a topic you would like us to talk about, just let us know. Our email address is therealfanreview@gmail.com. Real is spelled R-E-E-L. Enjoy the show.
You're listening to The Real Fan Review with Hav, Sanj, Al, and B.
What's going on, podcasters and YouTubers? This is Hav here, one of your hosts from The Real Fan Review. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be going over Star Wars, Rise of the Magicians, because that's what I saw.
We're not going to talk about cats?
No, we're gonna skip cats this time.
Anyone saw cat?
And then today with me, guys, we got a big team today. We got a round table. We got my boy Sanj.
Hey everybody, as always, it's a pleasure to be with you.
We got my brother B.
Howdy.
Really?
Howdy.
Howdy?
I'm sorry.
We got the man in the chair, Al, today.
How's it going, everybody?
We got a long-time listener, Real Fan Review beginner, Mo.
Big Mo.
Big up, long time, first time. Thank you for having me.
Yes, Mo. And we also have Alyssa.
Hi.
Welcome. Alyssa is a listener as well. She's also a co-worker of mine, so welcome to have you guys here today. I'm glad we're all here because we all saw Rise of the Skywalkers there, or Rise of Skywalker,
Rise
period.
of Skywalker, yes.
And it's pretty cool. And I wanted to get into the review of this movie. We're going to do a non-spoiler really quick, but we're not going to talk much about it. And then we're going to get to the spoilers and just go all in. This might be a long podcast, but now that I know you guys don't mind it as long as it's Star Wars, we're good.
Or like Disney.
Or
like
Marvel.
Marvel, right? Yeah.
2-hour podcast. Everyone in the world listened to it.
Jesus Christ. So actually, I wanted to start off with some good news for all of us. Our last episode 39, which was the Star Wars prep to get everybody ready to see Star Wars, is actually our highest listened to podcast.
Woo!
And we got up to like 51 listens in 3 days.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's nuts. And I'm like, Jesus, if we did this on Sunday and had everybody on, it would have been crazy, man. But it's our most listened to podcast. Also, we are at episode 40 today. And we also hit 1,000 plays with our Buzzsprout hosting site,
damn.
man. 1,000 people have, not 1,000 people, but 1,000 plays of all our episodes together. We've done 40 episodes today and 1,000 plays, man.
You're welcome.
It's all Mo.
Mo's like, I got 999 of those.
It's a good thing I poured myself a beer.
Yeah, man. So just really quick, man. Cheers to the team.
Hey.
Cheers.
All
man.
right.
All right.
1,000 plays, and here's to 1,000 more, man.
Happy holidays as well. Merry
Here's
Christmas.
to
Happy
1 million
Hanukkah.
more.
Happy Kwanzaa.
Happy festivals.
All right, so let's just
the
get
rest of
into
us.
it really quick.
As well as Saturnalia. Sorry.
No worries, man. We're gonna get into real quick, non-spoiler, just really quick. Mo, your thought on Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker? Would you recommend people to see it or not?
If you're not a fan, I think you'll enjoy it. If you're a fan, I think you'll enjoy it. I'm glad I saw it. Had a great time with the family. Took everybody out. My daughter got a nerd card punched. She was all into it. My son
Awesome.
loved it. My wife loved it. Everybody loved it. I had a great time. You know, I have my problems with it, but
Okay.
outside of that, just being a movie,
Yeah.
I loved it.
All right, Sanj, yourself, man.
It was a good movie, entertaining. So I would say go see it, if for no other reason to be part of the historic ending of this decades-long saga.
Yeah.
You know, just to say that, all right, I was part of that too. But
Gotcha.
yeah, good movie.
Good movie. Brandon.
If you like Star Wars, you're going to have a good time. You're going to like it. Yep. That's where I'm at right
You're
now.
saving this. I hear there's a lot to come.
Yes.
Yes.
The Jedi. Buy tickets, it sucks.
Alyssa, you saw it with me on Thursday. What'd you think?
Yeah, so
I like it as a movie. It's a good movie.
Good movie?
Yeah.
You got some things to say about it, though.
Yeah.
I feel it. All right.
So,
She couldn't
Alyssa,
even say the name.
Are you a Star Wars fan?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Ooh, she didn't even say the name. She goes, "It's a good movie." She didn't even say the name of the movie. We all said Star Wars. She didn't. So that's a sign.
Al, man, our Star Wars aficionado in the team. What's up, man? What do you think?
Well, considering I went in with low expectations but high hopes, it was somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle. Okay. For myself, I'm going to say overall, I thought it was a good movie. I think if you're a real Star Wars fan and you've been through all these movies, let's see, there's 9 plus the 2. We got 11 movies in this whole trilogy here.
Math.
Shout out to Math.
It's definitely not a trilogy anymore if there's 11 movies.
Oh, my God. Here we go. That's why we have
That's
the team
almost
here.
4 trilogies. Almost.
Almost 4. I think it was good, but I think if you are one of these nitpickers, you're gonna find a lot of things to nitpick.
Oh,
But-
we're gonna nitpick.
You came to
Yeah.
the right place.
You can't.
Yeah, man. So we're gonna get into
Got
the
my
spoilers
shovel right
of this
now.
because, again, guys, it's Star Wars. There's a lot to say. If we even try to do a non-spoiler, something's gonna come out. So we're gonna give you guys to the count of 5.
4.
3.
2.
1.
Yeah, Alyssa. We're going to go right into spoilers, people. So if you haven't seen the movie, please pause us, come back to us. Or if you have seen the movie and you're ready to hear all this, we're about to go in right now. Let me start off with Alyssa. Alyssa, what was your thoughts? Any kind of things or gripes that you had with the movie?
The kiss.
Thank you.
I don't understand.
Word!
No, because people in the movie theater were like cheering for it. And I'm like, really?
It was so.
Can I
Out of
honestly
nowhere.
tell you? I did a spit take. I got some water on the person in front of me when that happened.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, that doesn't make no sense.
I mean, when the kiss happened, I looked around. I'm like, really? Like, I get there was like a little tension in the Last
Because he
Jedi
didn't have a shirt on. That's why.
because he put a cowl on, man. But when it actually happened, that kiss, I just was like, okay, that's just awkward. And then for no reason, I mean, what about my boy Finn?
No, not for her, not Finn. Poe.
Poe. They made it seem like
they-
Leia
like,
and
they
Han
had-
at a, like in the
exactly.
beginning,
They
right?
had the real tension and the real
Poe?
chemistry. Yeah.
No way.
Like for the
Yeah, it was
first
like
5
they
minutes of the
butted heads a
movie?
lot.
They only-
Yeah.
For the first 5 minutes of the movie?
Because Finn was Rose. Like, that's the two of them going.
Oh, but I always thought Finn, because even Finn wasn't Finn trying to say that he's
the
in
first
love with
movie.
her when they went
Yes.
down the salt,
Yeah, they were about
the
to say-
sand.
Yeah.
Finn was like, I have something to tell you. And they survived, and he's like, "What do you have to tell me?" He goes, "Oh, I'll tell you later."
And then the whole movie he was like the jealous boyfriend. He was like the jealous boyfriend the whole movie.
No, plus,
He's
plus
screwing
in Last
everybody,
Jedi,
man.
the whole point of the movie for him was finding Rey.
Right,
Yeah.
And then making it so that Rey didn't go to the ship because of it.
Right.
So yeah, they were making it look
I think
like
what he
Finn
wanted
had a
to.
thing
I think
for
what he
her.
wanted to tell was that he's like force sensitive. Like he can like feel the force too.
No.
Oh yeah, that's definitely not what I was gonna say.
Oh, we're gonna talk about
Ray,
that.
you're a great friend. No, that's not the conversation they're having.
Al, what'd you think of that kiss, man?
It was definitely forced. It went along with a lot of the movie, in my opinion, that J.J. Abrams was just basically trying to please the fans with this last movie.
Right.
So as much things that the fans were crying that they wanted, he put it in this movie.
Right. And for me, like I said, I saw the kiss and I just couldn't believe like they actually went for it, because I honestly thought there was a better connection between her and Finn than anything. I saw, I kind of feel
it was
you
more on the
with
Finn
the
side.
with the whole. Yeah, I think Finn liked her a lot more. He was definitely friend zoned. He was definitely friend zoned and
friend-zoning
Heisman
Rose.
a couple times. But at the same time, man, I got to tell you, there was a lot of visual. I guess just visual stuff that they put on the movie that just completely awed me. One of the things that I loved about the movie was something that I never seen before was Ray did that trick where when I closed my one eye and I tried to squeeze an airplane with my 2 fingers, and she actually held the plane. It never works for me, but when she held the spaceship and you saw it like kind of lean back, lean down, and then when she accidentally used the
lightning?
electricity.
Oh, that was crazy.
Yeah, the Force lightning.
I was like,
Force
oh
lightning.
shit, she's a Sith.
Yeah, me too.
I just thought that was so crazy because something you never seen. But then at the same time, all I kept thinking in my head was, Al says she's OP.
This movie exemplified that she was OP.
She's so overpowered, dude.
MOP, maximum
Oh
overpower.
All right,
my!
so before we
Go
get too
for it.
far into that, you're talking about that. We were talking about that offline a little bit. And remember how they were getting flack for Rey being a master of the Force so quickly.
Yeah.
And when we look back at the previous Star Wars movie, it
Exactly.
was the same thing with Luke. He had like 5 minutes of training with Yoda, and then he was like,
that was years. That was
"Oh, come on!"
No, if you look at the timeline of how those movies play out, there's time between the movies.
No. What he's saying in like Empire Strikes Back, Luke goes from Hoth to
Cloud City.
Luke goes to Dagobah.
Dagobah
Oh,
to train
sorry,
with
I'm
Yoda.
sorry.
Yeah, he goes to
Thinking about
Dagobah
those
while the rest of the team goes to
Cloud
the
City.
Cloud City, and they get captured by Darth Vader. And in the
meets
middle
him
of
there,
that
yeah.
training, Luke goes to rescue his friends because he feels like something's wrong with Han or Leia.
Right.
And he kind of put up his own fight with Darth Vader in that movie.
Yeah,
so
but if you notice, he wasn't really winning that fight.
no, he wasn't.
He was played with the whole time.
So are we
Like
comparing?
he had the stuff being thrown at him. He was like swinging late. Like he did not put up any kind of a significant fight to the point where you thought he stood a chance of winning that fight.
Gotcha.
His arm got cut off. Then.
Yeah, he even lost his hand. I mean, he was being played
Good
with
point.
the entire time. And then the plot shows why he
Point
was
to
being
missile.
played with, because Darth Vader turned out to be his father.
Yeah.
Here you have people trying to kill her that have been training for who knows how long, and they're not getting anything in on her.
You know, she's never lost a limb. Or, I think the most she's ever got was like a cut on the
She
arm.
never lost a fight. 3 movies, she learns the Force, she's fighting, and like getting a draw.
I got you. I got
So,
you.
like,
Question
yeah.
here is:
Go for it.
Luke is trained by Yoda, who is possibly the best Grandmaster,
The greatest
Jedi, right? She's trained by Leia, apparently, who picked up like a brochure at technical college and became like an at night
to
kind of
Barclay.
Jedi master
Wait,
who can like train.
You
Rey.
forget, Leia's a Skywalker.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, but
so
she
that
even-
doesn't mean she can do anything if she
I
hasn't
mean,
trained
because-
for it.
listen,
That
Star-
don't mean she works.
All of a sudden, the last episode, she's like in space, frozen, and she forces herself into the back into the plane, into the ship,
Yeah.
and now she's like training people.
There's a reason why it culminates as the rise of Skywalker. That means something.
Yeah, but you know what? Also, I think they were trying to say that there was like this training period that she had because there was
With
something that we
Luke.
never saw
Yeah.
Yeah.
was Luke and her training together
know how
after the
long that
Return of the
was.
Jedi.
Retcon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
That was they were trying real hard to shut everybody up that was complaining about how powerful she was.
Yeah, I think
But
so,
they still
man.
didn't come up with a viable answer for it.
All right, but
So
before we go for
strayed
it, go
really
for
far
it.
from you. So let's get back.
Let's
on
get
your-
back.
yeah.
So, like from the beginning, let's talk about the quest in the beginning because the beginning of the movie was Kylo Ren's quest to find Snoke. Not Snoke. I'm sorry. Palpatine.
Yeah.
And we got the quick montage of everything. We get right to it.
There was
And
no lead up to it. but
nothing. Just let's go. He found the what is it? The
Holocron.
The holocron.
Holocron.
Holocron. He found. I don't even know how to spell that. Okay, so we're just gonna keep it moving. He finds this Sith holocron. It's to go get to Palpatine to find him in his exogal.
Right. It's the
Yeah,
Sith GPS.
Right. Sith GPS.
Plug it in. It takes
Now
you to the Sith.
I thought it was all
got ways
cool.
on it.
I honestly did really like and appreciate when he gets down there and you hear Darth Sidious, Palpatine talking. He goes, "My boy." I love that, man. And then
Long have I waited.
yes, yes. And then he tells you all the voices you've heard in your head. And he goes into Snoke's voice. And then he goes into Darth Vader's voice. And it just gives you this sense of, oh my God, this guy's been pulling the strings all along. And
I
I'm-
like that
yeah.
at that point where the movie kind of slowed down a little bit so that the story could develop a little bit. I felt like so much of it was a long movie. They put a lot into it. I almost felt like the second movie was completely
Pointless.
unnecessary.
Right.
At all. And you could have taken this movie and cut it into 2 and stretched it out to develop it
A little bit
a
more.
little bit more because I really felt like it was a race to the end.
It really was.
But that scene in general of where he goes down into the Sith cave or
whatever it is, yeah.
they do slow it down, and I really like that they slow it down, and there was dialogue and development there. It was really good.
Yeah. Now, Brandon, what'd you think of seeing the Snoke clones in the background on there, and then Palpatine explaining that he made Snoke like he was some kind of like a clone thing.
Retcon. He was like, "Oh, we didn't get any background on Snoke." Well, because he was made.
He was basically
he was made. That's
he was basically
why.
a biological robot.
I made this guy. Whatever. He was speaking my thoughts. Like, I think that was lame.
Yeah.
I think this was a quick fix for a problem.
Yeah.
Problem question. I mean, thanks for some kind of resolution
I
for it.
got you.
I mean,
I'm just happy.
It was a good way to fix it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think having Palpatine as like the master behind the strings and just kind of putting it out there right from the first 3 minutes of the movie, like, yeah, it's me and I'm gonna fuck shit up coming soon. Like, just wait. So I like that part of it.
Yeah.
But I was like, all right, quick fix. Okay, I get it.
Now, Al, man, you know a lot more about all this stuff with the Star Wars, what's behind the scenes and everything. Do you think that this whole like Palpatine and all that stuff, do you think that was part of the plan from the beginning, or
No.
you think Snoke was supposed to be there at the end?
Snoke, you could tell Snoke was supposed to be the main bad throughout all three movies. And then Ryan Johnson came in, and you would think like they told him, yeah, no, it's not part of a trilogy. This is your own standalone Star Wars movie, because he took everything from one and basically destroyed it.
Right.
You know, like Finn was supposed to, I'm sure, have more of a role other than being part of the team. The whole point of making a former stormtrooper turn good. They've never done that in any of the Star Wars movies, and you did nothing with it.
Right.
Then you build up Snoke to be this main powerful guy, and you kill him. And I think the whole thing with making him a clone was to justify why he died, why he
was there.
able to be killed.
Yeah.
But I disagree with bringing Palpatine back.
Gotcha.
Because the whole premise of the prequels and The New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and then ending with Return of the Jedi was supposed to be Anakin as the chosen one, bringing balance to the Force. He kills Palpatine as he was destined to. If he doesn't kill Palpatine, the first 6 movies now mean nothing. It's like Raiders of the Lost Ark and that joke.
Gotcha.
You know, if you take him
Indiana Jones.
out of Raiders of the Lost Ark,
Everything
everything still happens. So, like,
Oh my
you just
God.
made it that Anakin did nothing. He supposedly killed Palpatine.
he lost 3 of his 4 limbs
Yeah,
for
that's
no
it.
reason.
That's it. Sacrificed himself,
I
turned
got
on
you.
everybody for no reason.
Well, if you read if you read the books, it turns out that Palpatine actually does come back numerous times. So like he's actually a big figure in the old canon books. Because like he always had like a clone to go into and transfer his conscience into, and like so he always kept coming back until a point where they finally like stopped it. But at that point, they also stopped making those books canon. So I can see where they probably got the inspiration to do that in this movie.
Not only the inspiration in this movie though, but think about it for this point of view. If he even mentioned that story about Darth Plagueis in the prequels, eventually there was some sense of bringing him back at some point.
That's who I would have liked for them to have done instead.
Darth Plagueis.
Yeah,
Okay.
like he was the original one who knew how to do this.
Right.
And he was the original like main bad guy. He taught Palpatine,
Which would be
so
cool.
it would have been cool to
twist.
bring him back.
Just because he said
And we're
like his
I'm
apprentice was the
that's-
one who
yeah.
killed him, and it turned out he was the apprentice. who did it.
There is so much material that they could draw on.
Yeah.
The fact that they remade the Jedi Returns,
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi, in this movie, kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
Gotcha.
There's so much story, so much lore they could have gone through. They did none of it. They just kind of remade it with new people, same 3 people with main characters, and they totally threw aside, like you said, Rose. What happened to Rose? I thought Rose and Finn had a relationship.
Yeah.
Disappeared. Everything that
I
they
think
built up,
Rose
they
thought
threw
she
up.
had a relationship. I don't think Finn knew
Yeah.
that they
It's
had
the
a
same thing with Finn and
relationship.
Rey. It's actually the same thing happening.
Yeah.
And yeah, she was supposed to be a big character. That was the whole point of her in the last one. They were just like, no, sweetie, come back. Look, they pulled her to the background.
I don't know what happened.
And
That was something I was going to talk about too.
Especially
yeah.
like they said, like Finn was like, oh, come on this mission with us. And she's like, nah, I'm gonna hang back. That was kind of like, really?
What?
Why?
Yeah.
Like that was a bit of a.
They could at least
shoehorn.
put her on another gun. Like they
Yeah.
had Finn down on one gun. They could have had her at the other gun. Sort of
Exactly.
like shooting some TIE fighters or something.
Yeah.
Give her a run
Some
a
kind of
cameo.
development.
Nothing.
I hear you, man. Now, listen, what did you think of Palpatine coming back, his look and everything? Did you have anything against, like, Palpatine being back, or did you like anything about him specifically when you saw him?
I mean, I thought it was cool that he came back, but also like, if Rey killed him, did she really kill him? If he just comes back all the time, like, is they gonna keep it going? Maybe do another movie where he's back again.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Right, because I don't even understand how he came back this time. I
Well,
know he referenced.
That's one of the questions that I would have had. So
Right.
that's one of the things that could have been fleshed out in a second movie, where you see that he's back.
Yeah.
You know, that would have been the time to show that and give
Yeah.
us how did he come back and everything.
Because
They could have explained it, in this movie.
And that's why I'm saying he was not supposed to come back. This was supposed to be Snoke. Because from the first movie, all you hear is Snoke, Snoke, Snoke. If Palpatine was supposed to be the main bad guy, you would have heard
a hint of
his
it
name
or something.
Yeah. Or you would have heard about cloning or something in one of the earlier movies.
I never talked about the Knights of Ren. So I thought they were gonna make the Knights of Ren the new bad.
Oh my god!
And be like, let's go through these people who have force powers, wherever he got them from. They're gonna dive into it, do a little bit more background for none of them. They pretty much with props. They were backdrop, like marching through towns, and they had a fight scene, and like that was
just
it.
always there.
He's standing there.
Yeah, and that fight scene wasn't even really a scene. It was just them kicking his ass until he got a lightsaber, and then he completely tore them up. It wasn't even choreographed well.
No,
it was terribly choreographed.
Yeah, man. He's like, I'm getting my shit kicked out of me right now. Fuck.
Because I mean, and it was even so corny. Like, he gets the lightsaber and then he nods. He's like, mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, all right, let's go. Like, he's like, mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why I said Rise of the Magicians, because she was holding it behind her back, and then all of a sudden he had it in his hands, and I was like, oh, they did that David Copperfield shit. Okay,
So that's why they made it a point through the movies to show that they could pass stuff to each other through the mind.
Right, she would knock down something, he would see it on his end, and everything like that.
Saying, they would be there together.
Once they did that once, I'm like, I know what they're gonna do at the end.
No, once that second lightsaber showed up, I knew that's what they were going to do.
Yeah.
No, they were like, all of a sudden, we get a second lightsaber. Leia built one. Like, when did she have time to do that?
Since when did the Jedi carry two lightsabers on them like that?
I know another lightsaber is going to show up. Either she was going to build her own. I mean, she's a Jedi. She has to build her own. I mean, she had Luke's lightsaber, but
it takes a long time to make one.
But why would she have gone to battle with both of them? Because Kylo didn't bring it.
I think Luke's ghost told him to bring it, so she strapped it.
Yeah, I think that's what happened.
Why did she have both of them?
Well, remember, she was going to go try to save, still try to save Kylo Ren, like bring him back. She was going to try to bring Ben Solo back, right? So obviously, if she brought him back, he's going to need a lightsaber, and the best thing to do is give him his mother's lightsaber.
But here's the problem, because the Last Jedi said that Luke Skywalker, and he said it himself, he went to that planet to cut himself off, to get away from it. He wanted nothing to do with the Force, the Jedi, any of that stuff. So he conveniently put Leia's lightsaber, hid it there.
He was full of Force.
He was full of retcon. He was so full of retcon.
I mean, he was full of something. We'll just call it the Force.
You know what's so funny? This movie was retconning so much shit, it even retconned itself a couple of times while it was playing. So let's get into the after Palpatine. But real quick with Palpatine, though, I thought it was kind of crazy that he looked like a little zombie. Yeah. It was a little freaky. Yeah. You know, it was a little crazy. Yeah, man. It hooked up to the machine and everything. Because then, in the prequels, he said that it was some kind of like unhumane ways that he was gonna unnatural.
Yeah, unnatural.
Yeah. So I don't know. I thought it was so weird.
I can only imagine if he had like brought back Padme. And like Anakin was like, "Wait, what? This is what I bought?" It's like buying something on the Wish app. Like, did not look like this on the computer.
No, fail. It's like Match.com. You don't look like that. When'd you take that picture?
I've never used Match.com.
Oh, man. So then we're going to get towards the rest of the movie now. So they get this quest to find, I think it was this dagger. This dagger was something that Luke was looking for.
Well, no, they were going looking for their own GPS, their own Sith GPS. So then they had to go find a clue. So they didn't know what they were looking for. They were just looking for clues.
And it happened to be the dagger.
Yeah.
And then we see the first time Force healing from Rey. Alyssa, thoughts on the Force healing from Rey? Is that something that you're okay with and didn't bother you? Was it something that bothered you? What do you think about that?
I mean, it's cool. It's just, how did no one else know about it? You know, like, how did we not see it in the first movies then?
Yeah.
Like,
Baby
have all
Yoda
these...
knew.
Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda knew.
I think that's why they. I think that's why they put that episode.
That is-
They put that
connection.
episode.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, why are we giving people robotic arms when they could just do some force?
Self-healing.
Yeah.
They're not reptiles. They're not
Luke could have grew his hand back.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah.
Stare at it really hard, like,
Oh my god.
got a hand.
But like Mo, what'd you think of the like them? Like even though it was basically like quest in the beginning to get these clues to find the Sith holocron there for Rey to find her way access to Palpatine. At least it was somewhat fun, would you say? Like the speed bikes in the sand, them meeting up with Lando.
It was fun. It just seemed a little rushed.
Yeah.
Like Lando is a big deal, and it was like cut up in like maybe like 30 seconds. And so like the race in the desert, everything was like a flashback to like other movies. Like they went to the desert, they go to the mountains, they go to the jungle, they go to the moon. Like
And that was like 6 minutes.
yeah, and then they're going to like the ocean planet where in Endor where like this thing is in the water where the Death Star is sitting in the water, and it was like everything's a flashback, and I'm like, show me something different. There's so much more out there. Like,
Right.
give me something different. Don't rush. You know, you get it to drop. You get like hook up your USB. Let me give you the secret information, and just run off and from these TIE fighters and go drop it off to the princess again.
Yeah.
You're like, how many times you gonna download R2D2 with secret files for a princess?
Over that shit.
That hard drive has got to be like overtaxed and like ready to like fall out.
Oh, man.
I mean, it was fun to watch. It moved along, but I was like,
Yeah.
just do something different. Like it was all the same.
I hear you, man. And I think like one of the things I said, like they retconned itself in the movie, and I'm gonna have to rewatch it. Have anybody seen this more than once? Everybody's only seen it just once.
Just
right?
one. Actually, we just saw it like a couple hours ago.
All right. So
Might not see it again.
might not see it again. All right, I got you. I got you. So my one issue with it from when I saw it on Thursday was they showed one ship with the team with Kylo Ren and the Knights of Ren. They captured Chewie. Chewie gets on the ship. The ship flies off. Rey holds it. Lightning kills the ship, and they're all sad, and they think they killed Chewie. Within 5 minutes, they say, "Nah, Chewie's all right."
Chewie's good, guys.
He's right here, man.
There was another ship like
There was a
next,
second
right
ship.
over there. You didn't look to the right.
Now,
You
did
should've looked to the
anybody
right.
see this second ship?
Yes.
No.
You did see a second ship. There were two ships.
They landed with 2.
I saw
on the
one, and the one that
Behind the
Chewie got
rock.
on was the one she grabbed.
Not only that, Finn had
Again,
just seen
Matt,
him go
that's
in.
the magician got you.
Dude, the David Copperfield.
Did we just bring the prestige back? Is the prestige back?
Yeah, 'cause that's what I was thinking. I was like, Finn just saw him, literally turn around and say, "Yo, they got him." Turn back. How did he turn back to the wrong ship?
Shit. And why would he be so sad? You
Yeah.
know?
So
Yeah.
I that was one of my problems with the movie, though, among others, was there was no consequence. Like there was no real
Yeah.
risk. Apparently.
No.
Even with 3PO.
Yeah, there was never a risk. Like
Yes.
Chewie dies. Like as soon as we're absorbed, I'm like, oh shit!
my
did they really
gosh.
just
Yeah,
kill
like,
Chewie?
how
Oh no, they
sad.
didn't. He's right there.
Yeah.
And then they're running down the hallway like shooting blasters. They're hitting everybody in the head. Shot one.
Yeah.
One Poe gets hit.
One pull.
He gets hit
Meanwhile,
once.
everybody's shooting all around them. It's like they had a force field. Nobody can hit them, but they're hitting headshots.
Yeah.
Every shot. Like,
Well, the force led them.
It's my TIE fighter though.
Yeah, right. I thought that was so bad, man. And to be honest with you, I kind of wish they had killed Chewie off in
Yeah,
that
it would've
movie
been better.
because it would have meant more. Or if you're gonna do that, where you're gonna be like, oh, there was a second ship. Would you do it 5 minutes later? Like literally, just
No.
5 minutes later, they showed him in the ship,
It was the next scene.
right?
yeah.
You should at least wait until the end,
Yeah.
and where he'd be like, "Oh my God, there was a second ship!" Like like
Yeah.
it's like.
And you just be like, what?
So we felt that loss because there was a couple people in the theater that was like, "Oh shit, they killed Chewie."
But how did Finn not know?
I did that.
Finn knew.
Yeah.
He knew through the Force where the command center was and like how to destroy the ship. He couldn't tell what Chewie was. You've been
Yeah.
flying with this dude for like last.
You like watch
years.
that shit happen?
You know what I mean?
Only Ray knew.
or Ray didn't feel that he was still alive.
Yeah.
Like,
I let
Right.
it go. I let it go in the theater, but I was like,
Yeah, I thought
on,
that was
son.
pretty bad. But listen, you called out another one, C-3PO. Here he is telling everyone, like even in the commercial, "What are you doing, C-3PO?" Saying goodbye to my friends. Oh, one last look at my friends.
Yeah.
What was
I
the
almost
point?
I almost cried in the commercial. Okay, the commercial alone, I was like, "Oh my God, C-3PO is gonna lose it,
Yeah.
die." I thought they were gonna like. There was I forgot which Star Wars it was where the person put in themselves into the computer system. I think it was Rogue One.
Yes.
Oh no,
Right?
Solo.
Yeah.
No,
No.
no, it was Solo.
Solo?
With,
Solo.
with
Okay.
the robot with Lando.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right,
It
right.
became the operating system for
She
the
put it
Millennium.
Into the Falcon.
Into the Millennium
Which I
Falcon.
thought was kind of weird too, but
Yeah.
We're not talking about that
he
right
loves
now.
that ship. Real loves that ship.
But yeah, you know what I mean? Like I thought C-3PO was gonna put himself into something or whatever. But you know, they wiped his memory, and I'm like, oh shit, so it's gonna be like he's not gonna know anything or remember anything. Nope. I think this one was at least 10 minutes later. R2D2 fixes him. And I was
He's like, I'm
what?
your homeboy. Like, what's up?
Yeah,
You
I
remember
mean-
me? All right, hold on. I got you.
You know, but that side trip was actually pretty cool. I liked the town they went to and
Which
the
one?
characters they had. I forgot what the small one that was like fixing him that had the weird language.
Oh, yeah.
Boba,
Yeah.
whatever her name
Oh, that
is.
was Poe's old planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I would love for them to have had the time to like go through that a little bit more.
Right.
It seemed interesting. It was different. It was a place they'd never been, which I was like,
Yes,
oh wow, someplace
yeah.
they've never been before. What's a spice trader? What is like? It's like Dune. Like what's going on? Like what do you guys
Yeah,
trade?
yeah.
There's a drug
Drug
dealer.
dealer.
Drug dealer.
Drug
Like
dealer.
tell me about it.
Spice was their word for drugs.
Listen, but tell me about it. What's going on? Like where's
Like, we got Cuban. What we got?
where's the house at?
What you got? What you
Who's
got?
smuggling? Like
We got that pepper.
What's his work here? How's this work? How's this work?
Got that cinnamon, son?
I'm like, yo,
Garlic powder.
Garlic powder. No, but like the one interesting like note on that planet was they were saying that the Empire was consistently stealing the kids from there to become stormtroopers, which I thought was like, oh shit, wow, that's insane, because you saw them doing the raids, going around in the town with the stormtroopers and the Knights of Ren looking for everybody. But one thing that bothered me about that planet, not that planet necessarily, but one of the characters we meet was Poe's girlfriend.
Yeah. You mean Carrie Russell, who you wouldn't know is Carrie Russell with a helmet?
We never saw her face not once, right?
No.
No.
Was she a Mandalorian? Because she never took the helmet off.
I mean, I don't know, but I think that was underdeveloped, that part, because why introduce us to her and then we meet her once there, and then I think she shows up at the end real quick.
yeah.
Yeah, in one of the ships, yeah.
And then Poe gives her the look like, we gonna do it? She's like, no, and walks away. Like,
I just didn't get that. And even also the girl that we meet on the planet where the Death Star landed, I forgot the character's name, but it's the girl that Finn was with.
Yeah.
That had a similar story where she left the Empire.
because she was a stormtrooper.
Right. And I forgot her character. For some reason, I thought she was going to be Lando's daughter, but
Yeah.
she's not.
That was
way
too
they
easy.
ended it.
But
Yeah.
they're gonna
Yeah.
go search the galaxy together.
But then they made
Yeah.
it kind of creepy where
He still got
Lando
it.
might try to hit it. Like, did anyone else get that vibe?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lando's like,
I think
let-
Billy D.
let-
Williams got that vibe.
He got that Colt 45 vibe going on.
I know he pulls out a Core
He got a
45.
little, got a little shag
He
carpet.
pulled out his Colt 45. That's you know.
He got some beads on the wall.
Let's go find out,
We'll
baby.
find out, man.
Let's go find out.
Shut back.
You're not alone.
But now was she? Her name was Jana.
He's
but
like,
was
you
she
look like
also
you've been in the
force
woods for
sensitive?
a few years.
I don't
but,
think she
yeah,
was
we can
force
still do this.
sensitive, but she said it's just a feeling, right?
She was gonna feel something. When you go on that ship with Lando, you
She's
feel
force
something.
sensitive.
Lando's like, you feel that? That's the force.
They got too much money to do that shit.
But Sanj, like, okay, so what's your take on those two characters, Kerry Russell and you said Janae? It was
Jana,
the girl at the end.
They were interesting, and introducing them was interesting, and
Right.
then they did nothing with it.
them.
Like you said, it just felt like it was a rush to the ending, and because he was trying to fix so much stuff and undo so much stuff. They felt like the last movie was like an FU to the Star Wars fans, and this movie was like kind of like, you
Let me
know,
save it, let
like
me save
here,
it, let me
yeah,
save it.
yeah, like, you know, hey, we really like you still, you know.
Yeah.
Didn't it also seem like they were trying to set her up to be with Finn for like a hot
Yeah.
second?
Me too.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
the same thing. I was like, why are they setting this up if he likes Rey? He literally just almost told her he loved
It was
her.
like the overly attached boyfriend. Like,
You know what? They didn't want to get anybody mad. They were like, let's give him a black love interest.
That's
it's
what it
not-
felt
it's
like.
not biracial. And I'm like,
that,
come on, man.
That was
Well,
really.
that's why I say that
that's
a lot
really
of
what I
this
got.
was for the fans because the Rose character, a lot of people complained about her after. So that's why I think like with Jar Jar Binks from the first trilogy, they took him out because of the fans
That's
complaining.
crazy. She didn't
They
do
did the
nothing that
same-
bad.
She
in
didn't do anything
in
bad.
The
Rose was
Last
like a
Jedi.
serious character. Like she actually had some development. You
Yeah.
saw her
Yeah.
sister. You saw her struggle. You saw her like come to terms with her love for
Finn.
Finn.
Yeah.
I was like, this chick just like showed up on a planet on like a horse and was like, "Hey, I was kidnapped as a child too.
Yeah.
Let's like talk."
No,
and
but for
get to
some
know each
reason
other."
they went after. But for
It's
some
that,
reason
it's
they
like
went
that
after
meme
him.
where like the dude is walking with his girlfriend, but he's looking back at the hotter chick. You know what I mean?
Oh my goodness, man! But yeah, like I thought the Kerry Russell character, she looked cool as hell. I thought that outfit was awesome. You know, the helmet and everything. Now, what I'll go into the next one here, Al. What'd you think of? They basically like ×2 what they did in Last Jedi with Rey and Kylo Ren being able to see each other. And I know they kind of hinted at that they could like I think she felt raindrops or he felt raindrops. Was it when they talked to each other last episode, Last Jedi?
Oh, in Last
I
Jedi.
think he was on the planet. They were on the planet and they were talking to each other. And I think she felt there were raindrops.
Yeah, yeah.
I think they were talking outside, and that's when he felt.
So
the
this movie they like doubled it. They made it seem like he basically was in the same room as her because when they were fighting, they could basically fight each other
Yeah.
from different places at the same time. I'm like,
And he did a lot.
Yeah.
and
No, no,
3
but
times.
my whole see the only confusion I had with that, I ran with it because it was obviously a centerpiece for the movie, but wasn't that something that Snoke did to them? Like, wasn't
that's
he
what
the bridge?
he said that.
It's
Snoke
Snoke
was
is
like,
Palpatine,
he
right?
created the link, but then it's
I guess
Palpatine
with
doing it.
Palpatine-
So he's like channeling it, I guess. But he taught. I guess
Yeah,
they
'cause
learned
that's where I
how.
got thrown out. I
The-
was like, how
my
is this still
my
happening?
problem with those scenes where they're talking to each other through the Force link is that when they're showing us Rey, they're showing us where Rey is. When they're showing us Kylo Ren, they're showing us where he is. So I thought they could see where each other was. And then he says, "Show me where you are so I can just come find you." So if that's what's going on, why not show us what they're looking at in the back? Because she's looking at him and she can't see where he is. He's
Right.
looking at her. Like, why would you put us in that scene? Like,
it seems like they're
cinematically,
only seeing each other. Period.
yeah,
Like, it's almost like
all
black
they,
around
yeah, that's
them.
all.
And just them,
That's
man.
all they
Doesn't make
can
sense
they can
why
see.
they
Like,
both saw the mask hit the floor.
Well,
because
yeah.
Well,
go
no,
for
I
it.
think she could see him because he wasn't blocking it, but she was blocking her surroundings. Because if you remember, she was in his room, so she didn't want him to know where she was. So that's why he said, "Why can't I see?" Because before he used to be able to see it, except for when she was on.
So
the
then that
island.
confused me. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
And then when the mask fell, it caught her by surprise, so she couldn't block it.
Gotcha.
And then that's when he saw it, and he said, "Oh, okay, I know where you are now."
She's in my quarters.
Yeah.
I really wanted her to touch the mask. I wanted her to touch the mask and have some kind of like
Reaction.
connection or some kind of reaction to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it didn't. I was like, that was okay. You found Chewie's bow. You found his lanyard. All right, that's great. The mask is right there. Like, who wouldn't? Anybody in this room goes into that room and sees Darth Vader's mask. You're gonna touch the mask. You're like, this is, wow.
I don't want to, but I'm
I was
going
waiting for
to.
the voiceover. I was waiting for like
Yeah.
something, like a music. Just a,
All right, now let me start off with Sandra on this one, man. What did you think? By any chance, Rey was going to turn to the dark side?
Yes,
I did
did.
too. I
thought she was totally gonna. Turn.
I thought that's what they were selling. You know, this
Yeah.
whole Palpatine thing and her and all this stuff.
I thought they were gonna set it up where her and Ben Solo or Kylo Ren switch roles.
Right, he turns the good. She
And
turns
then,
bad.
and then he has to either kill her or save her or something like that.
Yeah.
It was going to be a redemption type of thing.
What did you think of the reveal that she was his granddaughter?
So I've been sitting on this for a while.
Go for it,
And I
man.
didn't say anything because I'm not the Star Wars fan.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. I knew she was Palpatine's daughter.
You thought that from the beginning, from jump.
Yeah.
All right, all right.
It's because
Mo don't believe you, but yeah.
of course he doesn't believe it. But it's the only thing that it was the only thing that made sense.
Yeah.
Out of it, other than
Of course.
her being a clone of and being like nothing. And I'm like, they're not gonna bring and I had a hint of it, but as soon as like Palpatine's coming back, I'm like, that's whose kid she is.
Gotcha.
You know?
I honestly did think she was Kenobi's daughter or granddaughter or something like that. I didn't think
Or
Palpatine.
granddaughter, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump in real quick.
Go for it.
How did Palpatine have a daughter, and why don't we know anything about this daughter at all? Like
Yeah.
they tell me they made up a daughter.
So Mo, how
Granddaughter.
No,
sex
a son,
works?
a son.
The son was the son of the. I thought he
Right,
had a daughter.
she saw-
She had-
His Palpatine's son was her father.
Yeah.
So she's a Palpatine through the father, not her mother.
okay, so if it's the went like they
How?
just totally
Yeah,
made
when?
it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
They
Yeah.
totally made it up, and I'm like, okay, like this would have been nice to flesh out in like something, maybe a series between the movies or something.
I bet you they did retcon that shit and do it now.
That's what it is.
Disney Plus, Palpatine's son.
If she was a clone, that would make a lot more sense. If she was a clone of
No,
Palpatine, I'd be like, you know what? Good job.
I'm
But
not
it's the
saying it
exact
makes
same story.
sense. I'm just saying
Yeah.
like when they
Put Palpatine in the
confirmed
movie.
that they were bringing Palpatine back,
Yeah.
I'm like, this is how they're ending it.
I
It
hear
was
you.
way too predictable.
They should have left her the way. If Ryan Johnson messed it up, and I think that J.J. Abrams having her at the end take on the name was him fixing the fact that she was. I think
I agree with
I
you
think
that
she was
yeah.
always supposed to be Luke's daughter.
Right.
Yeah.
So she was always supposed to be Luke's daughter, and the only way to fix it, but make it like a nice twist, because apparently all the critics want a twist, is she's a Palpatine. She's not anybody else, but she's going to take on Luke's name.
I got
They
you.
kind of found a way to merge the books and the movie.
Yeah.
Because in the books, like there's Ben and there's his sister. They're twins.
Right.
Leia and Luke have twins.
Yeah.
I mean, Leia and Han have twins, and then they have to fight each other. And essentially did the same thing. And they brought it back full circle. But for that, you could have just followed the books. At least that was a different
Yeah,
story.
made them twins.
Why are
Right.
you remaking the 3 movies all over again?
I got you. Brand, did you like the reveal? Or was it? I thought it was a little too early for the reveal. I think it happened like in the first half of the movie. He was just like, you know who you are. I know I told you she's a nobody,
But I found out more.
but there's more.
I got the inside scoop. I agree with Al. Like, I feel like this was something that was supposed to happen in the last movie. This is why they put it in so early, like the full reveal like that, just because it was something that was supposed to happen before. I mean, in terms of the Palpatine thing, like it's been like a wide theory since Force Awakens came
Right.
out that like her lightsaber battling type is a lot like his from what we saw in
Right.
Revenge of the Sith. So people were like, oh, maybe she's something related to him. That's kind of like I like the clone theory.
Right.
Was because like if he made the clone, then yeah, she would take on like his battle traits, his force traits, this and that. Like the Force lightning, obviously, was his big thing. So her becoming a Palpatine, it would make sense if we understood that he had family.
Right.
Because like by the time.
Or at least a side chick.
Like by the time
Something.
like at Revenge of the Sith, like there was no talk of him having family, and he was already like
Evil.
elderly,
and even
like
as a senator, he didn't.
Yeah.
They never showed him with like a wife.
Or
Yeah.
anything, yeah.
and like let's be honest, like if he had a wife and a kid, they would be ancient by the time that she was supposed to be born anyway.
Right.
So like the whole timing line of all of that, because
This
like
isn't-
Luke's like Vader was a lot older by
Right.
the time our original trilogy came. Like he wasn't in his 30s. Vader's was like in his 50s at this point. Like he was old. So like for Palpatine to have a son and then have a kid, like he would have had a kid at like 50, 60, like
Yeah.
So like it just didn't make sense with the timeline of everything.
I got you, man. And Alyssa, how about you? Did you like the reveal of the granddaughter Palpatine being her grandfather, and when it happened? Like I think it was like first like hour of the movie we found that twist out.
Yeah.
You were cool with that? You liked that, or didn't bother you anything?
I mean, I didn't really. The whole time I thought it was gonna be like she's his twin. Like with their whole Force connection, I was like, there has to be something. It's like Luke and Leia, how they're so connected.
Right. So you thought Kylo Ren's twin?
Yeah, even till the end, I'm like, she's just gonna say like they didn't want to tell her or something like that. So
Yeah.
I was like, Palpatine. Like I thought it was cool with the when she shot the lightning and everything, but I was like, he's so evil. Would he even have?
A relationship?
All he wanted,
Turned
yeah,
on
like,
by
all
that.
he wanted to be was evil.
I mean, even evil people like to, get down and have
people-
some
I
fun.
disagree
Some
when
people
they're
like the bad
Sith,
boy.
Sanjay. I disagree when they're Sith, Sanjay.
Disagree with this.
He's all trying to rule the galaxy, all right?
Oh my goodness,
Bounce
man.
wow wow.
All
No,
right.
like, it would have been better
Mm-hmm.
that way, but that's not what they.
They did,
That's
right?
not what they did.
Yeah, man. They made a lot of crazy choices in this movie, man. And
I mean,
a lot of
ended
retcon.
with forcing it, the reveal, like the whole lightning scene that you mentioned with the ship. That's a Sith power, not a Palpatine power. So
Yeah.
I thought
Like-
she was gonna be evil. I was like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. And again, going back to my whole issue with her character was, even if you want to try to say she has that ability or the strong force because she's Palpatine's grandchild, again, how does she know that power?
Gotcha. Well, when it came out, she was shocked by it.
Because like even Luke, even Darth Vader at his advanced stage of being a Sith Lord, didn't have that ability.
Right.
It was like something still you had to learn how you had to be taught how to be trained in it.
Well, I think some of the
And
stuff,
she does it by mistake.
some of the
because she was
powers I
struggling?
think you can never like battle whatever they battle meditation stuff like that. Only certain people could do it. Like everybody doesn't have all the tricks in their bag. But the fact that she had it pointed directly to Palpatine. You're kind of like that's kind of like right on the nose.
Yeah. As soon as
because
I
he was
saw
a-
that, I was like, "Oh, wait a minute!" I was
Like,
like,
she's evil.
"Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah."
Evil.
Yeah, and the whole balance for her, I would have preferred them do it as her becoming a gray, as opposed to
I think that's what the last lightsaber was about.
Yeah.
Her new one being
Oh,
the
the
yellow.
yellow?
Yeah.
yeah.
Wait, and real quick. I know we're gonna jump to the end on that real quick, but if we just go over this, because I think you guys might know more than I do about this. Did she make that yellow lightsaber come out of her staff?
No, she made
She made a lightsaber.
She made her
it
own
look
lightsaber.
Like,
Okay.
look like her staff. Yeah.
I thought it was her staff that she turned it finally, and it because everybody always said the staff was something special.
All along, it was a lightsaber.
Yeah, that's what everybody was saying, and I'm like, did that just happen? I'm like, no way. All right, now let's get back to the timeline
But
we're going
didn't
through.
her lightsaber look like it had duct tape or like some sort of tape?
Electrical tape.
Yeah.
She went to Home Depot real quick.
She retconned her her lightsaber.
Oh man! So now let's get to this chase for the Jesus. Mo, help me here. Holocron.
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 HOLOCRM. Holocron.
Holocron. Very good. All right, very good. All right.
Oh, really big shoe.
So she gets to this planet where the old Death Star landed, and she goes in there. She sees her just like in Last Jedi. There, you know, she sees the evil version of herself. But the main thing there is Ben and her fighting. For her to, I guess, get away, she steals his ship. But they have this fight where she ends up killing him. But then she heals him.
She didn't kill Ben. She killed Kylo Ren.
Good distinction.
Redcon.
Get it right.
What'd you guys think of that, man? How'd you feel about that fight? I thought the fight was pretty intense. It was cool. I just felt like Kylo was kind of like letting her slide a little bit.
He wasn't trying to hurt
That's
her.
what I'm saying.
He wanted her by his side. That was the whole thing. Like, he wanted them to be together, and he wanted her by his side. So the whole thing was like he wanted her to submit to him, and she was like, no. And I don't think she was actually gonna end up like stabbing him until Leia jumped in and was just like, nah, like sent her force like that. And
I
stopped
think
him.
she said Ben.
No, she said nah.
No, she definitely said Ben.
Nah, dude. Nah, son.
Nah, B,
Nah,
deadass,
son.
stop.
No, literally, nah, son.
Don't do that, yo.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. That's not nice.
Papi, no. That's my mom. When I'm about to do something evil, I hear mom, Papi, no haga eso.
And that's when he got.
So she set him up. His mom set him up.
She set up Kylo Ren.
There you go. Again, you're making that distinction there. I
Yes.
like it. It passes. But I thought it was crazy that she got him, and then she healed them, and then she took off.
But now, having
She hit it and quit it.
Literally.
Question for
She
you
didn't hit
guys.
it, she tapped it. She tapped
tapped
it.
it.
Question for you guys about the force healing. Do you think it makes the person good? Because the 3 times you see the force healing,
I know.
it turned the person.
I know shitty doctors that are assholes that can do really good surgery.
No, because
so,
like
I mean,
when Baby Yoda heals, what's that guy's name? Carl Weathers' character in
In the
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian.
He was gonna kill the Mandalorian and then decides not to
I
after.
just assumed it was gratitude.
The snake didn't.
But let's call it good.
No, only because at first I would have thought gratitude, the same
Yeah.
thing. But then when Ben becomes Ben again after being healed,
Can I
I
put,
was like,
my other question was, you know, Jedis can come back and, you know, you see them and ghosts just, you know.
Hey guys, sorry about the rough little cut there. We had a little technical difficulty. We're back on it now. So where did we leave off? What were we talking about?
Han Solo as a Force ghost.
Memory.
Well, Mo was. Mo, what were you saying, Mo?
I would like to quote a man who once said, memories don't live like people do.
All
They'll
right.
always remember you.
Memories don't live like people do.
They always remember you.
I mean, it was cute. It was cute. Don't get me wrong. I was like, yo, that's cute. You got Han back. He was the son. Like, it touched me. But I was like, this doesn't make any sense.
You know why it doesn't
But
make
you know
sense?
what? You let it go.
Made,
You let it
just
go.
made him more of a douchebag.
You know why it didn't make any sense? Because it was supposed to be Leia that he saw.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Leia passed away.
Yeah.
Okay.
CGI.
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 It's CGI for the rest of the movie.
I know.
CGI.
But if you think, but the way that making it a memory fit in with the fact that it was word for word exactly the way the scene played out.
That
when
was-
he, when
yeah.
he killed
That
him.
was pretty
Like
cool.
it took us back
Yeah.
to that because
Yeah.
in the first in Force Awakens, that scene between them, like that got me. Like that.
Oh,
scene.
Yeah.
And then when he killed his pops, like
I did think that was kind of honestly one of the best scenes in the movie because I didn't realize it was the words he said in Force Awakens until he said, "I don't know if this is what I'm supposed to do," and
or if I don't have the strength, I
if
don't know if I have
right.
the strength.
And right, and I thought it was just a play. It was like I was like awesome. I was like, oh shit, it goes both ways, and he's switching now. He's going back, which is again something I didn't want. I mentioned this to Brandon in the last episode. I didn't want any redemption for Kylo Ren. He was an asshole. He killed Han. I don't care what he went through in his life, dude. You don't kill Han.
Hot take.
Yeah.
I don't think he should have.
No, like I said,
came back,
it made
yeah.
him more of a douchebag. Like you should have listened to your dad the first time, you jackass.
Listen to your father, kids.
I'm telling you, man. I didn't like that, but I thought it was pretty cool that she robbed Kylo Ren. She took his car, B. But there we have the retcon of all retcons in this movie.
Here we go.
Let's get to this. I'm going to Al on this one first, man. So Al, she steals the beamer,
Simmer.
and she goes right back to where she was training with Luke. She sees the burning ship. She throws the lightsaber into the fire, and it is caught by Luke, where he then says, "You do not treat a Jedi weapon with this lack of respect."
No, he said a Jedi weapon should be treated with more respect. Sorry, sorry. I mean-
No. I'm not talking about how about that. I'm talking about how the retcon.
Right.
No, I didn't think that was more of a retcon as it was a slap in this guy Johnson's face for doing that.
Yeah.
So like there was a lot throughout the movie. There were a couple of jabs at what he chose to do.
Jazz, this was a fucking
Yeah,
uppercut.
like,
Haymakers.
that was obviously,
That was bad.
yeah, because it was like because everybody did not like the scene where Luke takes a lightsaber, looks at it, and throws it over his shoulder. So
Or
that-
drinks the milk.
Yeah,
Off
Did he
the
drink
teeth.
And stares at Ren, right?
Like,
You're
the
like-
monster
You
was
like
like,
this?
"Do you mind?" We're having a moment. But,
And then the creature looks at her too, like, "You're next." Gross. Blue milk.
It sucks.
but with that scene with Luke was one of a couple of scenes, like I said, with Luke where I felt like it was like a jab back at how they treated Luke in the second one.
Yeah.
Not only by killing him off, but by having him act that way. Like another one of the issues that a lot of the fans had with Luke was, why did he force project himself when he had his plane there in the water? Which is, of course, now when Ray decides, oh, wait, yeah, let me go back into the fight, he lifts the plane out of the water.
Yes.
Not her.
That was a good
He
callback,
does.
actually. I like that one, though.
Yeah,
But that's also a callback
to Star Wars.
Right.
Because he never
Definitely.
was able to do it
But
when he
Yoda
was
does it.
training.
Do not. There is
Yeah.
no try.
But I felt like it was more of like a lot of what they were doing to appease the fans. Like, because one of the big complaints everybody had with the projection was, why did he project himself when he had the X-wing there?
You should have gone
Yeah.
over there.
Yeah.
Why go back? I don't
Like
understand
Luke
why he
would have
go
went
back.
there.
Yeah.
Well,
like
this
the
is one of
old
the
Luke.
like this is
Yeah.
JJ.
Thought.
But this is one of the complaints I
Right.
have that
Point,
there's a lot of.
Alyssa.
I understand you want to appease the fans, but this was too many. It delayed this movie from expanding on what it was
And
introducing.
Yeah.
it made everything seem too convenient. At every turn, everything was just convenient.
Yep.
Like, I can heal you. I have a plane. You know, Luke
Yeah.
shows up.
You have everything you need.
It tried to do.
the hologram's right there.
It
Oh,
tried to do
he
the
kept it
Avengers
there.
Endgame without having the Kevin Feige. You know what I mean? Like,
And they also did not have the Tesseract.
this side bitch of the MCU. Yes, classic. Yes. Brandon, your thoughts on Luke completely disrespecting himself? Because when I saw that scene, I'm like, dude, you were the one who threw the damn thing last time.
Yeah. He can make the choice himself. It's his lightsaber. That whole island scene was, let's retcon Last Jedi as much as we can. That was the whole point of that scene.
Yeah.
Was the lightsaber, the Leia, you know, she left this for you because she just knew that her son was going to turn bad and that someone was going to come along and use this lightsaber to stop my son and save them and save his soul and whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, that whole scene was the giant retcon.
Somehow, when he burned all the Jedi books he had, he left the lightsaber tucked away in like this little stone
Yeah, because it needed to stay there. It needed to be brought here. Number one, you know, like it was too convenient. Like my hope was that it was gonna be. I think I said it out loud. Like that was the green lightsaber.
A New Hope?
Oh god.
Ah!
I thought it was gonna be
Too
his
soon?
green lightsaber.
Too soon?
Right? I thought it was going to be the green lightsaber, too. What happened to the green lightsaber? Besides the
Special
fact
effects.
that it fucked up the special effects when they tried to
Special
do
effects,
it.
like, that was it. I think that was the only thing.
They had to go blue because the green screen would fuck up the green lightsabers.
And it kind of looked like his green lightsaber at
Yes, it
first.
did.
So I looked at him, I'm like, oh shit, she got that Jedi Knight lightsaber. Like, all right, like, okay, here we go. And then it was like, nah, this is Leia's from that one time she used it, and you don't want to use it no more. And I was like, oh, that's stupid.
Oh my god!
And then all of a sudden, he was like, oh, you have everything you need. And she's like, well, what do you mean? Oh, he left the holocron still in his TIE fighter. Even though, like, TIE fighters keep blowing up around these parts, but that holocron is still in that one right there. You might have sliced the wing off the other one that didn't have the holocron in it, but this one definitely had it, and it's still there. So if you need it, just look to the left. I'm like, what? This is too much.
It's too-
Because she sliced his TIE fighter. So this one was the one that he had it in? Come on. Come on.
In the stories too, the holocron is so much more than just a GPS. Like
It basically
it houses
affects
like
the
their
kyber
soul.
crystals, yeah.
It houses their soul. So like you can learn from the holocron. You can study and learn from whoever made it.
Yeah.
And it's like a secret technology that's been lost to generations.
Yeah,
We
and
got
then-
waves.
They're hard to
and didn't-
find.
We
and
got
didn't
waves.
the
And all you
Jedi-
got was ways out of it.
And the Jedi also had like their version, and if you joined the two, it gave you like all the like. There was so
supposed-
much
yeah.
more they could have done
There's
with
so
that.
much more they could have done. Instead, they just dumped it down the GPS. And you're like, okay, let's just use the GPS. Use his ways.
But again, rush to the ending.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I don't think, you know what, I don't think, if they wanted to correct it, clearly they wanted to correct some mistakes. And they did not have the option of adding a movie. Because it's they have a tradition of trilogies, right? What they should have just done is broke that tradition and broke it up into 2 movies.
Yeah.
And stretch it out. And then everybody would have been happier, I think, because then you get another movie.
You get another
If
movie.
only they
Yeah.
had a platform to express themselves better and fill in all these gaps before the movie came out.
The
If only there was a platform.
Hulu?
No,
Netflix?
I don't know. Did anybody else catch up on this? Because again, I was looking for all the little jabs once I saw that with the thing that back at Last Jedi. Last Jedi had them all going on their own. Like they were doing, everyone was doing a mission by themselves. This one, they were always together.
Yeah.
And that was a gripe because you spent the whole original trilogy with them mostly being together, except for Empire Strikes Back, where they were separated and shit went wrong.
But it was like two sets of them,
Yeah.
like not even like all off on
Yeah.
different directions.
No, that was. I actually like that they were all together for this adventure kind of thing, especially in the beginning of the movie, because I thought it was really cool seeing them all play along with each other, have that interaction. It seemed like they've been friends for a while, so I don't really know how much time passed between
Like a
Last
day.
Jedi
like
and
the
this
next day.
movie.
I think it
But
was about a year. They said.
yeah,
I mean, well, they're
Okay.
like the millennials of their time, so like, you know, it works a little bit differently for them.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I don't know.
So now, before we get into the final battle there, we finally see Leia pass and turn into a Force ghost in that scene. Well, no, she just died from using the power
Yeah.
to get Kylo Ren off his track of killing Rey there. So we haven't gotten there yet. So let's get into that final battle where they find a way to get to Exegol.
Yeah.
Is it? That's the planet where Palpatine is. And they find Luke's ship on the radar, so that's how they were able to find how to
Yeah,
get
she
to
gave him
Exegol. And they all, started this front to meet. And they said, we're going to go, but we're only a few soldiers. And Lando was like, don't worry, we'll get the rest of the people to come. So then here we go. We get to the last fight here. So we get the big...
Battle of Endor. Wait, I mean, what? Exegol.
So Rey goes down there and has this, the conversation with Palpatine. Palpatine wants her to strike her down so that Palpatine's essence and soul can go into her.
Yeah,
'Cause then
because
he'll
she
be-
would be the Sith master.
Because then he'll be a Force ghost, and then he'll inhabit her body.
Well, no,
Yeah.
Sith don't turn into ghosts; they inhabit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So like the Sith ghost then.
Yeah.
Sith leech.
So my first question to all of you, because I don't think anyone's gonna have the answer. Who the hell were all those people in the stadium?
Zealots.
I thought they were Sith.
They
Well,
can't-
Sith, but Sith.
Well, they
zealots.
can't be. It's only between two Sith, like the Master and the Apprentice, right? So they couldn't be proper Sith. They were
Well, it'll
probably
be like
just
legions, I
sycophants.
guess, like
Yeah.
followers.
That's just
supporters,
crazy. I just thought that was so weird.
Thought,
And they
I
never
thought
showed
they
a
were like
face
the
or
essence of
anything.
the dark
Yeah.
side. Like that's what I thought they were.
Oh, okay.
Let's go with that.
Let's do that.
What I miss
Motherfuckers.
is like in the other episodes when they're attacking the Death Star, they're whatever. You see like all the other types of aliens that are there, the Mon Calamarians, the other guy with I forget what the TIE fighter is. But here you didn't. All you saw really were humanoids. You didn't see like different type of races of
Yeah, just a
beings.
couple times in the beginning of the movie.
One or two, and it was like they did actually did a pretty good job. They did like a Jim Henson kind of throwback with some of them. But I was really looking forward to seeing a blue Endor, a blue not Endor, but like a blue, alien or something different.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
I hear you. I mean, the only thing we saw different was in that planet where they were having the festival.
Yeah.
And
That was really cool,
That was,
actually.
it was
Yeah.
interesting, but that was pretty much as weird and awkward that it got. Because even at that planet where Poe came from, everybody looked pretty much like humans. Yeah, I get you, man. But with that last battle with Palpatine there, with Rey and Palpatine, thoughts? Anybody?
A lightsaber would have been cool. I don't know. He got power back and stuff. Like I was just waiting for a little bit more than like a speech and then lightning.
They made they made him seem like some sort of like druggie.
Uh-huh.
Because as soon as he stole a little bit of their life force and he got a hit and he was like, yo, it's like he snorted coke for the first time. You know what I mean? Like it definitely seemed that way. And then he totally drained their life force.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? And he's like, yes, I am back. The true emperor is back.
He's like, let me get that seat back. Fuck y'all.
Yeah, because the whole
That's my
thing was
seat.
for Rey to be the leader, for her to sit on the throne with his essence in her. But it's just,
That's
I
weird.
don't
And that
Don't
was
say it like
weird.
that.
Like I want to
Don't say it like that. That's weird.
No, yeah, I took it that way when he said it too. It was weird. Like I want to like inhabit my granddaughter. Like, oh, come
that's
on.
so gross.
Can you be any more creepy?
Oh my god, man. Alyssa, what'd you
Work on
think
that
of
line
that
of yours.
last battle, that last meetup with Rey and Palpatine there? You were
Where he got his essence. He
I
wanted
just
her
feel like
essence
they
to be
build
in
it
her.
up and then it just nothing happens. Like,
Nothing
it's
big,
pointless.
right?
Yeah.
I thought the same thing,
Same
man.
with Kylo
He was
Ren.
kind of connected to that thing, and he was like being propped up, like almost
like a crane.
Pinocchio.
He's like, lift
on the
me
neck.
up. Lift me up.
Take me closer. Too close. Closer. No. Back.
Move back a little bit.
Okay, good. I will inhabit you. Your essence.
Fire the operator. He sucks.
Oh my gosh, man. So then she's fighting Palpatine and it's not going great. Kylo Ren shows up and he has to go through the Knights of Ren. So we finally
Knights of who?
I know, the Knights of Poops. That's what it is.
The Knights of
That's what they might as
They
well
put
have been.
food on them.
That's what they might as well. I was so hyped for the Knights of Ren since the first, the Force Awakens, and they got basically like Mo said in the beginning. They were just showing up at the spots that they were chasing the Poe,
Got a lot
Finn,
of
and
standing
Rey.
time.
Right behind them.
Yeah.
It'd be like they turn a corner and they're right there, marching right behind them.
Yeah,
They're in
the
the shuttle.
shadows.
They're like they come right behind them. You're like,
they had these cool weapons, this cool look.
They could have
nothing.
designed so many fight scenes and for them and
Yeah.
choreographed it where you're like kind of like how they did with Darth Maul.
To
Like,
be honest with you, what should have happened is Kylo Ren should have met up with Rey in front of Palpatine, and instead of the guard fighting Rey and then the Knights of Ren fighting Kylo Ren, it should have been the Knights of Ren fighting those two. And I think they would have had
They
a
did it in the last movie.
what?
They did it with the Imperial Guards.
Yeah, the Last Jedi.
I got you. That would have been the same look
It would
and
have been
same.
the same thing.
why not?
Exactly.
Well, then, so then the
I'd
fight
take it
scene that they had in the last movie then should have been saved for this movie because when they were like fighting with each other and they would
Yeah.
choreograph and like how they were doing things like back to back
Yeah.
and then swinging each other around. Like that was a great fight scene. I mean, as much
Yeah.
as the movie sucked, the fight scene was great.
I really thought that because the Kylo Ren thing with the Knights of Ren, I didn't like that fight. I felt like nothing really big happened. I didn't get any like flavor or like I didn't get anything from the Knights of Ren. Like I couldn't tell who was who. I couldn't tell them apart. Like, oh, this is one is crazy over here,
And
and
they all died like bitches. Like that was terrible.
No, like they were
They got quick.
No, they were like bullies, right? So like the mean like big bullies like corner like the one weakling little kid, right? And then they like beat him up, and then he gets his lightsaber, and they're like they all were like, oh shit, we're fucked. You know what I mean?
I
Like
thought the way they had it progressing, the way they made it look was like when they were on that one planet. I thought with the desert, I thought 2 of them would end up fighting there and then like die, and then I thought 2 more would fight on the ship and die there, and I thought like by the final battle you have like 2 left, and they were like the toughest of the tough.
toughest of tough.
And
Yeah,
you would fight them there, or even if it was Kylo Ren
Nah.
just fighting the 2 of them, like have like a bad time fighting them, you know?
they might as well have not put them in the movie.
Well,
I think they overhyped them, man.
They
They
know what
were
to do with
lookouts
them. They
in
weren't in the
most
other
of the
movies.
That's
If
true.
they had the Knights of Ren in the other movies, they didn't know what to do with them. But
I
now they
got
just made
you.
them, you know.
from
I think
Jump
they-
Street when we were doing this whole Kylo Ren thing, the Knights of Ren should have been there from the
Something.
beginning,
Yeah.
like his guard or his like minions or
Or don't show them,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
because I think Brandon for a second thought that Kylo Ren killed all the students from Luke's training facility. They might as well have killed all of them then, because they showed them in the beginning in The Force Awakens, made it seem like, oh, these
Yeah,
guys are
they
going to
were
be a
bad.
big deal. They were nothing, man. I was so depressed with that,
Like
man.
stormtroopers.
And then, Al, what's your thoughts on the fight that they actually had between Palpatine and Rey now when everything's done? Like, she killed off those royal guards. He killed off the Knights of Ren. So here they are, Rey versus Palpatine. And he says he has all the Sith with him.
And she has all the Jedi.
And then you hear the voices of all these Jedis.
Well, I have 2 thoughts. One, I thought it was cool the way they did all the voices and that built her up. Then it comes to where, again, they show her overpowered. He literally shot his lightning into the sky, destroying half of the rebellion fleet, but she was able to absorb it with one lightsaber.
2.
No. Then she
She
brings
absorbed
two.
it with one.
First
No, she was able to.
Yeah.
She was able to absorb it with one, and then
took two.
overpower him with the
The
other one.
second one.
I,
So
I will add one thing that is like with the Sith. The reason they are 2 is because it consolidates power, right? If she's the only Jedi, then literally all of the light. She's the embodiment of all of the light, and he's the embodiment of all the dark, supposedly. So I guess that's how they're trying to play it.
But Ben was still
But
alive.
then, if that was the case, then that would have
I
been
know he was-
Luke. But then that would have been
Dead
Luke when
yet.
they fought, and she sent Luke to the ground.
I'm trying to
Like-
give him a way out, man.
I'm giving
I
you
don't know.
something, Al.
I'm trying to give you something,
JJ,
man.
I'm with Al.
JJ, we tried.
I'm totally with Al.
Yeah.
like-
on that one.
Yeah, that's what it's like. There was no buildup. That's why I can't stand. I mean, it's strong, but I can't stand her character because she never had any development. From
know what-
Force
you know what
Awakens,
this
she
was?
was
It
as
was
powerful
it
as
was
she
like-
was at the end.
I
It
thought
was
she-
like an extended quickie. But this is like 30 years. You don't wait 30 years for a quickie.
It is no longer a quickie if it's
You
extended.
know what? I thought
No, but it's like
That's a longie now.
I thought on Endor, I
That's
thought
a
she was gonna lose
longie.
her hand. I thought on Endor she was gonna lose her hand.
I'm just saying.
It was a
Whatever.
total flashback to like Luke and Vader. That's what I thought they were gonna
Yeah.
do because it was
If
so
they were gonna
spot
do,
on.
if they were gonna do the whole lightning and you show her use lightning, then have her use the lightning back.
Yeah.
Like not the lightsaber and then okay, let me get another lightsaber. Like if you're gonna go all in that she was a Palpatine and this is how they're
It
doing
should have
the
been
balance,
lightsaber and lightning,
lightning
Yeah.
versus lightning.
or lightsaber
or
and lightning.
something,
Like
yeah.
she can
Like
do
that's
both.
how she got him.
Yeah.
Like she used her lightning to get him.
I
or something.
needed. I was really happy in the theater when everyone came in with their voices. Like, you know, you had people from the trilogy,
The
from
Rebels,
the
yeah.
prequels, from the TV shows. They
Did you
all,
watch the end credits?
Yeah,
They had Alec Guinness. They had
they had
Freddie Prinze
everyone.
Jr.
yeah, everybody.
Freddie Prinze Jr. from Rebels because he played Kanan.
From Scooby Doo.
Damn it.
Where are you?
We
We got some work to do now.
Pick a key. Pick a key, gentlemen. Pick a key. It was. I needed more from that scene after I watched it. I was like, there was potential because they brought most of those people. Like Liam Neeson was brought in to do the voice acting. You couldn't have him suit up as Qui-Gon Jinn as a Force ghost. Like
You
you
never
know,
see him as a
all right,
ghost.
so
He's
I
never
am
a ghost.
glad that you.
he was a ghost in the cartoons.
He was. So I am glad that you said that, because later on I was gonna ask you guys if you like. For me, the way I wanted to see that final scene, if they were gonna do it that way with all the voices, have all of them show up
I told
as
Brandon
Force
that.
Ghosts.
I told
And like,
Brandon that.
and
yeah.
but have the power come directly from them,
Yeah.
right? With her as the conduit, or something like that. Like it would have been such like an homage to
Yeah.
everything, and but not like have them all show up at one time, like one by one, like the camera pans and things
Yeah.
like that.
Awesome.
Like do like the end game where you get this group coming in, this group coming in, this group, and then like it
Yes.
pans out, and you
Absolutely.
see everybody there, and that's what made that scene
Yeah.
in Endgame like holy shit. And then when he says Avengers Assemble, it's like as everybody.
Everybody, yeah.
So then when she comes in and wields that power, it's everybody
And you
there.
can visually see it
Yeah.
also. I
Yeah.
told Brandon, I said, wouldn't it have been cool when they said, he goes, I have all the Sith with me, and all of a sudden you see Darth Maul, Plagueis, Vader, you see all these people, and then she goes, and I have all the light with me, and then all of a sudden you see Qui-Gon Jinn, Mace Windu, you see Yoda, you see all the Jedi that are behind her.
And then they extend.
forget it.
That scene.
Yeah.
To like that be your big scene.
That would have been amazing
Yeah.
if they did that, but
Because
again,
they brought them all in to do those lines specifically to say her name. You could have bring him in and do like.
I mean, and don't
I'm
tell me
sure
you
they
can't
all would have
afford
been
it.
so
One,
happy
it's
to do
Disney,
it.
it's
Yeah.
Disney, yeah.
and it's Star Wars, so y'all got money.
And it would have been talked about forever.
forever.
Yeah,
Yes.
it would have been talked about forever. But in the end, she gives the lightning back to Palpatine, and it looked like he was doing the same thing that happened when Mace Windu was doing it to him.
Yeah.
That his face was changing all over again, and did he explode?
He just melted.
Oh my God, man!
Damn the Jedi.
This sucks.
Dying sucks.
I did this before.
I've died before.
And I do it again. But
I'll be back in the next trilogy.
I hope not. I really hope not. It's over for him. But then, in a kind of reminiscence of his passing and the way he died in the Return of the Jedi, there, you see Kylo Ren fall
Yeah.
down this
You
whole.
will-
Said it
Yeah, he's like, you will fall the way I fell.
Yo, interesting.
with the lightning, and I'm like, okay,
Then he came back like he did,
yeah.
At a hole.
and he came back in time to heal Rey because apparently, I guess Rey had passed or she
died
gave up
somehow.
her
Well,
all
remember,
trying
he
to fight him
stole, he
back.
stole their life force.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So like she was up and about because of the other Jedi, the Force ghosts giving her power and coming to her. You know,
I got you. And then
she was wielding their power.
and then I guess Kylo Ren or Ben realizes he has the power to heal now too.
Well, he figures like if she can do it,
That's a great way to think about it. Well, if she can do it,
I saw this on YouTube once.
right? Oh, he saw her do it.
I
He's
can
like,
build a shed.
I can do it.
I saw it on YouTube. I can do this.
Not so subtle jab, huh? Not so subtle jab.
I'm
my shed is
listening.
uneven.
No, it's a lean-to.
Dude, I don't know, man. I when I saw Ben heal, I was like, oh, now he knows how to do that. Really? Okay, fine. I'll go with it. And I thought that he was gonna help her up, and they were gonna form this great, like, all-powerful Jedi's now.
Force-tron?
Huh?
A Force-tron?
Force-tron. There you go.
You know what? That would have been an ultimate jump off of the next movie. The two of them got together, like their child would have been literally like the most powerful force
Child or
wielder
children or
in
whatever.
The history of like whatever.
But then he, I guess, because you know, throughout the movie, you see every time she heals something, she loses. You see her hand change colors, so kind of showing that she's giving some of herself away. And then, like Alyssa said in the beginning, there we get the awkward kiss, which just wasn't called
And then
for.
and then he chuckles. And he's like,
He's like, yeah, got
I'm
some.
dead.
Dies. Like,
Got
why
some.
make them kiss if you're
That
just
was a
going
spit
to
take.
die?
That's all right.
Yeah.
Like, that just killed.
I don't
Ben.
know, man. I just thought it was crazy. And then he, I guess, because he's redeemed now, he's a Jedi, so he passes on to the Force.
Yeah. But doesn't come back as a Force ghost in the end.
well, nobody did.
Yeah.
Well, Luke and Leia did.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
I don't know. I thought it was weird, man.
Stretch. Qui-Gon Jinn doesn't come back as a ghost in the movies.
It's either like they're Force ghosts or they have some really good drugs in the Star Wars universe. I mean, like,
So now let's get to the ending of this movie, and then we'll just talk about it a little bit more. So, Alyssa, we get to the end. Rey goes back to Tatooine Why? I don't know.
It's called the friend zone. It goes back to the friend zone.
And she
BB-8.
buries the 2 lightsabers. Lady walks around, I guess a neighbor or something, and she goes, "Hey, never seen you around here. Who are you?" And she says, "Oh, I'm Rey."
Rey who?
Rey who? Rey Skywalker.
Like, where's the
Skywalker.
neighbor coming from? There's no like nearby houses. It's just like a shack
I
in
ain't
the
seen no
middle of the
huts
desert.
around.
Yeah.
She's a Sith.
She's a nosy neighbor. She was like a kid playing around the front yard. She's like, "What you doing here? Over here? What you doing?"
No, but like, what'd you think of it? Like, did you like it as like a nice little bow or a little like, oh, hey, this is cute? What'd you think of that part?
She had BB-8 with her, right?
Yeah,
Isn't he Poe's wrote like droid?
that's what I thought.
Like, why is he with Rey?
I guess she's like his R2D2 now.
Yeah.
But you didn't care for it? Nothing
No,
didn't
I
mean
mean,
anything to you?
Why was she there? Nobody was there with her. Like, the whole point was that she had nobody there.
Right.
That's why she left. So why did she go back?
I have no idea.
Dumb.
Dumb. Oh, Brandon says dumb. So, Brandon, your thoughts on...
Dumb.
Okay.
That's
Al?
all I gotta say.
Yeah, nah, that was.
They
I
just
didn't
wanted
see
that
any.
last shot.
Yeah, I didn't see
That's all they
any
want.
any point. It really made
Because
no sense.
they ended every trilogy with a shot of Tatooine's sons.
With
That
the 2
was it.
sons, yeah.
I
That's it.
guess
That was
just
the
to
whole
bring
thing
it
they
full
wanted.
circle, because the first
Yeah.
one
It
started
was
that
too much
way.
on the nose. It was too much on the nose.
I think a lot of it was too much on
It's
the
like,
nose,
I'm like,
man.
come on, this
She
is
was
where
in
you're
the
gonna end
nose
it?
at that point.
You know,
Why
it sounds
bury
like-
the
Nose.
sabers too? Like, what
Like,
if
get-
someone finds them? Like in Jumanji, when they bury, like they throw it in the water, someone's gonna find the board
Shit
game.
didn't
again.
work out well for the next group.
Yeah.
So
It'll be the same movie all over again.
Oh, my
The same
God.
trilogy all over again.
Sanj, your thoughts about the ending in Tatooine?
I understand why
Yeah.
they did it. I mean, because the whole thing got started with that scene,
Right.
with Luke there on Tatooine, and they brought it back there to end it. It's a when you're telling a story that long and that epic, it's always a good tool to bring it back to where it all started and end it that way.
That's what most of these things do, right?
But-
Like Lost, Jack and his eyes
Right.
opening.
Right, but it's how you get there that matters, and they didn't do what was necessary to have the story earn the ending.
Exactly.
Right? That same scene, you got to build some emotion behind it. You got to build some stuff behind it, and it didn't carry the weight that it should have. I think that's really why it feels that way, because it doesn't carry that emotional weight. Like, all right, it's back here, and it's where it all started, and
It's
it's where
earned.
and everything is where it should be.
Gotcha.
But it didn't feel like that.
I think also it was like a burial scene, like she was burying them
Right.
together back where it all started. Okay, I get that, but then what happens afterwards? You just see her standing with the sons. It's like, where's her ending? Like,
Yeah.
her ending isn't Luke Skywalker's beginning. That
Right.
doesn't make any sense. Like, what's
Also,
next?
I don't think Leia ever has been to Tatooine,
No.
if I recall
No.
correctly.
I don't know how Force
But
Ghost found
also,
it. He's like, shit, we gotta be there in like 10 minutes, Luke.
but the fact that
She saw the other movies.
the fact that they have like Luke and Leia show up as Force ghosts, and then she takes the name Skywalker, is kind of like she's their kid. So that's that like whole creepy thing from the original trilogy where they
Get that
kissed and
essence,
they,
you know
you know what I'm
essence
saying?
of them is
So
in
it
her.
kind of made it to me. It felt icky,
Yeah.
because she's not like what she's their kid, like you know what I mean, like but they're brother and sister. So that's
And like,
weird.
what about her parents?
right? Yeah.
What did they do to her?
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
They
they're
tried to
probably-
save her.
they're-
yeah,
yeah.
They tried to save her.
I wanted her to say Palpatine and say and like take on her identity and know who she is and
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Like,
wanted her to say
that's just who-
Palpatine and like,
yeah.
yo, I'm changing your name. Now you're a good. No, yeah, you're gonna
right
be known for
exactly
good.
and they're
Yeah.
everything is redeemed. So I wanted her to say Palpatine. So I didn't, and I knew and obviously Rise of Skywalker. You knew she was gonna say Skywalker, but I'm like, come on,
I think Al knew because he read it.
Huh? Nah.
dude, you read spoilers?
Yeah.
Oh,
So go
Wait,
back to
were the spoilers right that you read?
About that part, yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow.
And that was the one that made me go in with very low expectations.
the,
Gotcha.
'Cause I knew they
Gotcha.
were going to do stupid
in the
stuff.
last episode when she goes into the cave, and all Jedi's have to confront your darker self, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is what she did when she was on Endor. When she looked into that mirror and she was trying to find, she wanted to see where she was from.
And she saw just herself.
All you saw were reflections of herself. So I'm like, they're obviously going the clone ride. I think you guys
Clones,
mentioned
me
that in one
too,
of the
yeah.
other. You guys mentioned in one of the podcasts.
But
I was
no,
like, that's where they were
also-
going. But why didn't you?
but they also had two unknown figures show up, like shadows. So they left it open for interpretation.
I hear you.
Yeah, but they really stress more
Yeah.
the thing.
And then who leaves their child with a junker on a desert planet? Like, that's like the worst daycare I've ever heard of.
I said they were drunks in the last one. They were drunks who sold her.
Right. They were
So-
nobody.
Yeah.
You belong to nobody. You're nobody.
So
And
now,
then-
they're like, no, they were somebody who weren't drunks.
No, but not only
apparently.
that.
Well,
Would
I
it-
mean, we saw
but
the
at-
set.
at
we
I
that-
read
saw-
that wrong.
But at that
I don't know.
point, Luke was still rebuilding the Jedi. He had his academy, temple, or whatever.
Why not
Why
bring
Why
her
wouldn't
there?
they have brought her to Luke? Like, why would you literally put her on a junker of a thing where nobody knew who she was, except for this one Jedi killer who came to claim her, and somehow failed.
Also, kind of as a go
Like, I
back,
didn't understand. Like,
the knife, right? Someone made that knife after the Death Star fell into the
oh,
water.
and, and it was in
They
the shape-
stood there and they made the notches on the knife to match up to
No, this
this
shit's
thing.
so
The
cool.
wreckage?
This shit's gonna be look so cool.
And I know exactly where the holocron is. I'm gonna put it right the dot.
I'm
right
not
where
gonna
it is.
take it. I'm just gonna make
This
a
shit is
knife.
never
I'm
gonna
I'm
move
put a
either.
point on it.
It's never gonna move.
I got my protractor. I'm gonna draw a circle. And I'm gonna measure the line. I'm gonna make this knife show you right
Good,
where it
good
would
job, B. Good job. Good job.
Oh man! And then we get to not the very final, because the very final scene is the two sons. But what did you guys think of the yellow lightsaber?
I thought that was the whole kind of the lore of the Gray Jedi in a sense. Like they have that color lightsaber.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember his name. If you go back to episode 1 or 2, they had that one alien who had a yellow lightsaber. But I think that was just kind of for show.
Right.
But like in the books, like that lightsaber was for the Gray Jedi, someone who walks in between. Understands that you can have love and hate and anger and passion. You can have all these things.
It doesn't make you.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think
Those Jedi rules suck.
yeah. And I think they were kind of trying. I think they
Yeah.
were stressing that
Yeah.
for a little bit when she went back to the island and she was like, "I'm angry. Like I am who I am, and I can't. I've done this and that. It looks like it doesn't matter. Like every Jedi has to face their fear, blah blah blah." But I think he was trying to imply more like it doesn't matter. Like you can love, you can hate, you can this and that, blah blah.
You
blah.
still have access to the
Yeah,
Force.
it's just as long as you're
Yeah.
not a dick, you could have whatever you want. So I think that was like the representation of the yellow
Right.
lightsaber color, kyber crystal.
Okay.
So that's where I thought it was going with, because they showed the logo in the last movie, in the Last Jedi.
Uh-huh.
The Great Jedi logo was
Gotcha,
there.
in the
so
books,
it was like,
right.
okay.
Yeah. I saw it and I was like, oh, cool. That was it. Nothing meant nothing for me.
With Anakin, he was supposed to be the one to bring balance to the Force,
He was
right?
supposed to be.
So I thought where they were going to go with this, I hoped anyway, was that they were going to have her walk the line of being, yes, I have passion, but I also have love. So I'm going to be that gray Jedi that kind of finds the balance between the two. I thought she was going to be the one to bring balance to the Force because Anakin failed.
Right.
And Luke couldn't do it, right? Or Luke walked away from it.
Gotcha.
But they totally missed that plot line entirely of giving her the power of saying that she's found a middle path between the two, between passion and love, to find her way. And that's why she had a yellow lightsaber. But they
They didn't even mention anything
just
about
threw
it.
it away. They just threw it out there and they just walked away from it. So it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
Take from
because
it what
like
you will.
in Last Jedi, when she's on the island, and Luke is training her, and she sensed that dark side under the island, he says, "Yes, there's always balance. Where you have light, you have to have dark. But if you killed off all the Sith, and now it's just her as a light user,
There's no balance.
where there's no balance. So you
That's-
didn't bring balance.
so you bring up the other movie, right? All of a sudden, there's going to be a secret Sith somewhere that's going to rise up from somewhere and challenge the light side again, and it becomes the same story all over again, which is fine.
Which is
but
why I thought they were gonna, like you, I thought they were gonna go the
Yeah.
gray route.
But
Like
you
if
gotta-
you're showing her with these dark powers, I thought they were gonna say, well, she's mastering
she can do both, right? She can heal and she
She's
can
true
use lightning.
balance.
and she's
Yeah.
she's the balance.
Right, but they walked away from it where it's like, okay, we don't know what's going on. We just know she walked off in the sunset. Is she living on Tatooine? Is she going to go fly somewhere else? Nobody knows.
Right.
This is a really big lightsaber too. Like heavy looking.
That's what I thought it was the staff. I thought it was the staff, honestly. And then, all right, so let's just get down to the nitty gritties,
Ugh.
and let's figure this out now because we pretty much spent an hour killing this shit.
23
And
minutes so
before
far.
it's like, oh, good movie, yeah.
Yeah, good movie. It's fucking stupid. It feels like we just been killing it, but to be honest with you, I'll lead this off and then we'll go in a circle. We'll go to Mo after this. So for me, honestly, as much as all the negatives and all the stuff that we said, I think overall it was a good movie. It wasn't great. I think it lost the opportunity to be great from Last Jedi, to be honest with you. So, I don't know, man. For me, even with all the mistakes and all that stuff like that, I still think it's a good movie. I still think people should see it. I don't think you need to go see it. If you're not a fan, I wouldn't start that way. But honestly, guys, I think it's a good movie. If you're a fan of Star Wars, you got to kind of finish off the deal here. You got to finish off the saga, man. So for me, you need to see it. I mean, you should see it. How about you, Mo? What's your final take on the whole movie there?
I think if you're a fan, you have to see this movie.
Yeah.
Right? It's like goes back like 40 years. And if you've read the books and you waited for the movies to come out, you waited for episode 1, and you were like online, I was not that guy, but if you were online, you wanted to see this movie, you want to see how it ends. Because they hyped it up so much. It's a culmination of all the movies, and they put such a fine point that it would be like the end of the saga.
Yeah.
You have to see it. Coming from a place where you've never seen it before, it's a nice movie. Like, you're going to enjoy it. But someone from me who I have a background in reading a lot of it, and I had hoped that they would find a middle path.
Right.
They didn't find that middle path. They kind of took shortcuts, and they kind of drew back to Palpatine, which I know why they did it, because he's the ultimate villain, but they should have moved on to something else, to a little bit more contemporary. They got caught in this loop of trying to redo the movies of the past. That being said, if you've never seen those movies, this is a fresh movie for you, right? So if you're a critic, you're gonna have your problems with it. Every movie has that, but I enjoyed going to it. I took my family. We had a great time.
Yeah.
It was fun to go see. I'm glad I saw it. But I mean, I have my questions about it, and I kind of have my own opinion about it.
Right.
But I enjoyed it.
All right. And Sanj, for yourself?
Well, I say you have to see it because of the historical context, because of how big of a universe that Star Wars is. So if you're a person that likes to see movies, you're gonna go see it so that you can have an opinion,
right,
on it, one way or the other, right? But as far as how they chose to end this story, it didn't line up.
Gotcha.
It didn't line up, and like Mo was saying, you would hope that they found the middle path. I almost wish they had not introduced new characters and made them the center of the story. I almost wish they had stuck with just Luke and Leia being left, and maybe them having to square off against Palpatine,
right,
in the end, or something where Luke has to go after Kylo Ren and kill him, and that sends Leia into a rage, and it becomes the two of them fighting it out. With
Luke ending up being the bad guy. Maybe,
who knows?
right?
Well, if Leia goes into the rage, maybe she's the bad guy.
Right.
But it's you don't know. She's a mother, getting revenge for a child. That's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah.
But it's
you wanted something different, though.
Yeah, definitely wanted something different. I wasn't as invested in Rey and Poe and them the way they had built up the investment into Luke and Leia, and Anakin and Darth Vader and whatnot. And these characters just felt like it felt separate in the same world.
Gotcha. How about you, B?
Like I said earlier, if you're a Star Wars fan, you're gonna like it because it's Star Wars. If you're someone who likes these kind of movies, you're gonna like it because it's fun. It was a really good time. When me and Al and my fiance left there, we were like, oh, it was a good movie. We enjoyed it. There was a lot of gripes with it, but we enjoyed our time watching it.
You heard all the gripes tonight.
Yeah, it was retcon central. You can tell the focus on this movie was fixing what happened in the last one and then ending it.
Gotcha.
But in doing that, there wasn't much to it, and we've been saying this whole night, it was a rehash of a Return of the Jedi. And in doing that, it was weird because the saga as a whole had an ending, but there was no resolution for any of the characters. We get it. Rey destroyed Palpatine, and she's the last Jedi right now, and whatever she wants to do with that, she can. But then we were like, what happens to Poe? He's just General Poe because Leia died, and that's just how it's gonna be.
Well, she put him in charge.
Is Finn also just General Finn because that's what Poe decided to do?
Well,
there's no kind of finish. Finn didn't have a last conversation with Rey to end the movie. There was no.
I just thought about that.
There was no
just
last
now. He said that.
conversation with them. There wasn't no. This was the words I had to say to you in the desert. He didn't say those words.
We never
to
finished
her.
that.
None of that ever came up, and then it was just
now
that's it. So it's up to your interpretation to see what happens next. But the truth of the matter is, I don't think if they want to make a Star Wars movie that doesn't have anything to do with the Force, as big as Star Wars is, I feel like Star Wars is the Force, and if you're not doing that, I don't think you should do it.
Well,
It's not Star Wars.
well, I mean, look at the Mandalorian. There isn't much force in
But
that.
we have the child.
Yeah,
and the
Baby
child
Yoda.
is Baby Yoda essentially, and he's using the Force, and that was like the whole thing about why he's so important.
But then I wanted them to tie that into the movie. So what's the point if they didn't tie any of it
That
into
healing
the...
thing.
I think, I think because that Mandalorian episode came out on Wednesday, the movie comes out on Thursday, and
Yeah.
go figure. In that episode, he does the healing where he heals Carl Weatherspoon's character. Not Carl Witherspoon.
Weatherspoon.
Oh, weather.
I was like, what the hell?
Witherspoon passed away. Witherspoon, I got the wrong spoon.
There is no spoon.
All right, Matrix.
It's just
Love it, love
Ah.
it. But yeah, I think that was the whole point of seeing that episode, so you could see that force healing really
Yeah.
quick, and you're like, oh, force healing. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thing.
So, I mean, if you like Star Wars, you're gonna love it. You know,
Yeah.
there are problems with the movie. You're gonna see them, but at the end of the day, this is the end of the Skywalker saga. You know, and maybe the end of Star Wars for a while. You know, depending on where they want to go with it here on. You know, so we'll
right.
see.
Alyssa, your thoughts?
I mean, I liked it as a movie. I'm gonna see it again. I feel like this one should have been the second movie.
Gotcha.
Or at least the title should have been swapped, because I feel like The Last Jedi would have fit better for this.
Yeah, I definitely agree with
I
that.
feel like the last movie was so pointless, they shouldn't have had it
Yeah.
at all.
Wow.
But, like the Rise of Skywalker,
Pointless.
it makes it sound like it's gonna like continue.
To something else.
Right?
Yeah. I hear you. I hear you. Anyway, before we go to Al, how many people here are going to see it again? Oh.
Yeah.
Just Alyssa.
Hobbs got his hand up.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't.
Al poked his hand up and pulled it down real
In the
quick.
background, I see a thumbs down. You're my boy, Sean. Al, what about you, man? What you think about this movie, man?
No, like everybody's saying, if you're a fan, you have to go see it just because it is the end of the story.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the story. It's weird because, and I've tried to make the analogy that this trilogy they keep calling it the Skywalker saga, which they really shouldn't, because this is 3 movies of a trilogy that's part of a supposed saga.
It's more Palpatine saga.
And you're really talking about a character that's not a Skywalker. So why are you calling it the Skywalker saga?
Because she named herself
But
at
anyway.
the end.
But in terms of that, it's technically billed as the end of the 9 movie saga,
Yeah.
the Skywalker saga. So you have to go see it. Visually, it's definitely something you need to watch here in a theater, no matter how good of a
Yeah, it
home
actually something you
theater
should see
you
in theater.
have.
Yeah.
The visuals were great. And that would be the only main reason I would want to see it again in a theater as opposed to waiting till it comes out on DVD.
Blu-ray, yeah.
So, question for you guys. So, Adam Driver is typically thought of as a good actor. How did you guys like him as Kylo Ren?
He was the
Ben
only
Solo?
redeeming part of the 3 movie arc, was
I agree.
because of all the characters in 3 movies, he's the only one who actually had an arc.
I love Adam
He
Driver.
grew more
Yeah.
than anybody else.
Yeah.
He's a good actor. I hated the role.
Mm.
I hated Kylo Ren. I think he's just a bitch the entire
too.
movie.
I mean,
Entire
especially when he hit
series.
himself when he got shot.
Listen.
I gotta fight.
He's better than Anakin ever was.
Oh, yeah.
So let's be honest.
Oh.
Because
That's
he
a
likes
low bar.
sand.
Are we still giving Hayden Christensen?
Hate.
Oh,
Hate.
come on, guys.
Feel the hate, yes.
Let it flow.
Flow.
The dark
All
side.
right, so I got one last question for everybody, and I'll go first to give you guys some time to think on this. So, we got these. Let's just do the 9 movies. We got the prequels, the original 3, and now these 3 here. Where does it rank for you guys? For me personally, if the top 3 is already the originals, because to me it's going to be A New Hope in the exact order that they came out: New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. Maybe Return of the Jedi in front of Empire Strikes Back. But after that, I think for me, it's going to be Force Awakens at 4. And this might be my 5th.
Between Revenge of the Sith.
Between Revenge of the Sith and this one, because the prequels suck. And I didn't like The Last Jedi. So this might be my 5th movie in that ranking. I don't know who'd want to go next on this one, because give you guys a chance
I'll
to think
go.
about it.
So, I mean, obviously, Empire is number 1 for me. Then it's Return of the Jedi. You have A New Hope right there. I would actually go Revenge of the Sith next, and then this one, and then Phantom Menace the last one.
You don't like Force Awakens?
I didn't hate it. I liked it. It was a fun time watching it.
Right.
But I thought it was just a carbon copy of A New Hope.
Gotcha.
Just with Han Solo dying.
So it would be top 5 in your rankings, though.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody want to go?
So I'll agree with B on the top 3 because I'll go with The Empire Strikes Back
Yeah.
as the best one
Gotcha.
because of the Luke, I'm your father moment.
Right.
Because it wasn't cheesy. It was very well set
When
up.
it first came up,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the fact that George Lucas chose to tell the story this way, like he had a 9-movie saga in mind at the beginning.
Yeah.
And he's like, instead of telling the first story, I'm going to tell the 4th through 6th story because they won't know that he's Luke's father. Like the
Right.
big bad, like Darth Vader was like the big thing, right? And then when it comes out, that's one of the greatest movie moments, like all-time greatest movie moments. Like it is in the conversation of the greatest movie moment of all time. Luke, I'm your father.
Right.
Like it's so ubiquitously referenced, right, throughout popular culture.
Absolutely.
Right? So Empire Strikes Back gets it for the build up to that moment and how they treat that. And then like B was saying, then Return of the Jedi was phenomenal. Like the way that Luke coming out almost as
Jedi
almost
Master and everything.
but almost like when he shows up, he's kind of like on the dark side.
Right.
And then A New Hope, because that was a good story too, introducing it. And then from there, Phantom Menace was really bad.
Yeah.
So that would be like at the bottom,
Yeah.
and then the other 5 would all be tied.
They're all tied for 4th.
They're all tied for 8. You know what I mean? So it's like 1, 2, 3, 8, 9.
Gotcha. All right.
That's like if they were better movies, like they would be 4 and then 9. But no. Yeah.
Al, what about you, man? What's your ranking looking like?
So I think one of them said it. Empire Strikes Back, New Hope, Return of the Jedi, then Force, and then I may even put, before I even bring Last Jedi, I may even put some of the prequels into it. Only because as far as in terms of visuals and the way they told the story, was very comical. They actually had plots and they built up to it. Like even the Revenge of the Sith and that ultimate battle between Obi-Wan and Anakin, as corny as it was with the silly lines, I got the high ground and all that, it's still, you understood how they got there though. Like what their challenges were, why they were fighting with each other, why there was a conflict in that fight. I don't feel like they built that up in these last 3, even though they were visually much better. That one had a weaker story, but it still had more to me of a substance of a story than these did.
Gotcha, man. Mo, what about you, man? What do you rank at? What does one rank at for you?
Well, I mean,
Below Star Trek.
let's not go there. J.J. Abrams.
All right, guys, I got you.
He hurt me twice now. He's on my bad list.
No gifts for him.
No gifts for him.
This J.J. Abrams might get both his kneecaps taken. No, I'm just kidding.
So I think I agree. It's The Empire Strikes Back, and there's Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back, and there's New Hope. I think all the rest of them kind of, I agree with the storyline for the prequels. They have at least a coherent storyline, and they're original. Like the whole thing with Padme and Anakin, like it's original. The acting aside, it was original. This whole set seems like it's just the first one was like an homage to like the original set, and I was like, I get it. You give them the first one as homage, but the second and third, I expected there to be a little bit of more of a story for these individuals, like to learn more about them, and it wasn't there. So there are a couple of scenes that are really cool, like Qui-Gon having the fight, the battle, and like other things here or there. But I kind of lumped them all together. Like after those first 3, they're all kind of the same to me.
Gotcha.
Like there's some things I like, but I could never watch any of them again, and I'd be okay. But the first 3 are the ones that I have, and maybe some of that has to do with nostalgia. Because I remember seeing them when I was a kid, and I grew up with them, and whatever the CGI might have been back then, and now we look back, it's kind of cheesy. It was it was great. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's a piece of like your childhood.
Right.
And there's other stuff like it came up short, but it also didn't give me anything else to really. I actually like some of the cartoons, like the Clone Wars. I thought there was a lot of character development for Anakin in those series that you're like, wow, I never knew that. For Yoda,
Yeah.
for Obi-Wan, for everybody, Darth Maul, and they didn't have any of that in the movies, and it just felt like it was. I didn't expect them to do everything in a movie that you do in a series, but I was hoping for a little bit more, and it kind of came. They all kind of came a little bit short.
Gotcha.
So I like the originals. The other ones were cool. They had cool scenes, but I don't necessarily have any of those 6 in any particular order for like better than the first 3.
Gotcha. And listen, man, how about for you? What's your ranking there with this one?
I like the Return of the Sith. That's one of the only one I like from the prequels is that last one, just because
Yeah.
I like seeing Anakin like turn bad, and like even when he like kills the younglings, like all that you see.
You
how
like
bad.
that? Masochist.
I mean, I don't like it, but
Wow.
you see how bad he really is, you know, like
Yeah.
to kill the children. I like that one. So I would say like the first 3, then Return of the Sith, then The Force Awakens. Am I saying it right?
I like the way you said "kill the children."
Kill the children.
You know, when you just killed the children. You know, it's
All right.
It's really cool.
So you already got 5 up there. So where's this landing? Like 7, 8, 9?
I guess it's like I like it with Force Awakens. They're kind of like both equal.
Yeah.
Then everything else. Then all the way at the bottom is The Last Jedi. I don't like that one. Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
The Last Jedi's in last place.
This is gonna be so completely off topic, but I just have to ask because Brandon's next to you. What's your thoughts on Iron Man 2? I know Iron Man 3 from the Marvel. Did you ever see Iron Man 3?
Don't say nothing, B. Don't say
Of course
nothing.
I did.
Okay, and your thoughts on Iron Man 3?
I mean, I liked it, but
Boo.
I was just curious.
oh man.
Said no one else ever.
Oh my god,
We're gonna
man.
cut all our lines out of this episode.
Oh man, but listen, I think we've gone long enough about this movie, and I apologize to anyone listening that thinks that we're just bashing on this movie, but like everyone pretty much said,
But we
this-
all hate Iron Man 3, so
Oh my God. Oh man, so like we say, all of us here, we all had a good time watching the movie for the most part. So we all did, but there was things that we can nitpick on and not like. So listen, everyone out there, if you've seen Star Wars, you should go see it. Honestly, give it a chance. If if you're looking for something to watch, this isn't a bad movie to watch. It goes by pretty fast for 2 hours and a half.
And you know what? If we weren't fans, we wouldn't care.
Yeah.
Like the fact that we actually can go and talk about this for hours is because we actually are vested in this franchise
Yeah,
and we
man,
enjoyed
absolutely. Grew up with this franchise, man. So that's what it is. But that's it for tonight. We're gonna just end it. Oh, hold on.
Before we all go, I mean, in a few days it is Christmas. Tonight is the first night of Hanukkah as well. So here at the Real Fan Review, we want to take a moment to wish you and yours a happy, healthy holiday
There you
season
go, Sanj.
and all the best to your families.
See, that's why there's 4 of us, man. In case one of us forgets something, that's why we have the 4 of us.
Well, we'll wish
here,
you a
man.
Happy New Year on the next podcast.
Yeah,
'cause
that's
we're not
right.
skipping a week this time.
Absolutely, man. No problem. So listen, guys, we want to thank you guys for listening. As always, you guys can find us at therealfanreview.com. You can email us at therealfanreview@gmail.com. I want to thank Alyssa for joining us today. Thank you so much for your opinion
Thank
and
you,
your
Alyssa.
thoughts.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome anytime.
Yeah, man. We also got to thank Big Mo.
Big Mo,
Man.
get money.
Mo sends us
song?
questions.
I've been trying to get it for a minute. I listen to you guys every week. Thanks a lot. People think I'm crazy because I'm laughing and I'm talking in the car. And they wonder what I'm doing, and I'm actually like talking back to you guys.
Well,
I feel like I'm here every week.
I'll give you a line that maybe only you will understand. You are always welcome.
Yeah, guys. So we're going to end the podcast on that. And again, you guys can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We appreciate all the guys who listen to us, everybody who listens to us out there, because, again, we hit 1,000 plays. We have our subscriber base going up every time. I look at it. It's just nuts. And, hopefully we'll do this full time.
I'm with it.
And listen, we got goals for next year. Hopefully we'll start doing some video on Twitch or YouTube. But, this is working out just fine right now. And we thank you all for listening to us. And you'll catch us next week again with the Real Fan Review. We'll probably just go over some of our stuff for the next year for 2020. And we'll do some scenarios again. So that'll be fun. And so coming in from New York, I'm signing off with my boy Sanj.
Good evening, everyone, and have a happy, healthy holidays.
My boy B.
Yeah, what he said.
Our man in the chair, Al.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Mo.
Happy holidays, happy New Year.
And Alyssa.
Bye.
There you go. All right, everybody, have a good night. We'll catch you on the next one.
Stay tuned.